Let's take a second to play a little scene. Imagine you're 10 years old and you're with your family in the car. Someone suggests that you stop at Wendy's here on Yellowstone and you get your nuggets and your french fry and your drink cup, then you sit down with your family. Now let's change the story. Imagine you're 10 years old and your caseworker asks you if you want to stop at Wendy's on Yellowstone. You look out the car window and you see a family sitting in there and you think, I wish I had that. Many people don't know or wouldn't even guess that there is 1,818 children in foster care in Idaho. 373 of these children are waiting for adoptive families, according to Adopt Us Kids. It makes me wonder if the other 1,445 children have given up on looking for a family, or maybe they're just waiting to age out of the system. But there should not be that many children in Idaho without permanent and loving families. Since I'm a major advocate for adoption, I'm always looking for ways to help. I have spent many hours researching adoption since one of my family members is planning to adopt a kid. Since I'm planning on adopting when I'm older, I've already started saving money to pay for the adoption costs. Today, I will be covering 3 different yet related topics. First, I will discuss the adoption problem. Second, I will discuss how eating at Wendy's and using Snapchat can help solve this problem. And lastly, I will discuss how a small action can actually change these children's lives. First, I will explain what the adoption problem is. The problem with adoption is that children are not being adopted fast enough, are not necessarily wanted, or are aging out of the system. On average, children wait at least 3 years to be adopted from foster care, according to the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption. That is not only being in foster care for 3 years. That's 3 years of your desirability to be adopted steadily decreasing. That's 3 years of no one wanting to get you. Another problem with adoption is that sometimes these children are just not wanted. I know that sounds awful, but let me explain why this is true. I've met people, particularly males, who feel that it is more important to have your own children than to adopt a child in need. Part of this reasoning is that they want to leave their genetic mark behind with their children, or possibly just pass down the genes. In Idaho, an area known for having families with large numbers of children, is it that crazy to adopt one more? The third problem with adoption is that many children are aging out of the system. The phrase aging out is in reference to growing too old for the foster care system. In 2015, 98% of 18 to 21-year-old foster children aged out and entered the world with no family only in Idaho, according to Child Trends in 2015. On a national level, by the age 26, there are only 3 to 4% of youth who aged out of the foster care system and obtained a college degree. 1 in 5 of these youth become homeless after turning 18. Only half will obtain employment by 24. Over 70% of females in foster youth become pregnant by 21. And 1 in 4 former foster youth will experience PTSD, according to Shared Justice in 2017. Now that you see what the problems are with adoption, I will talk about how you can help. To solve the adoption problem in Idaho, we could have Bannock County adopt all the foster kids. Only 4.55% of the Bannock County workforce of about 40,000 people would have to adopt in order for all the foster care children to have families, according to the city of Pocatello. However, this would not actually fix the problem. There's no way we can convince 4.55% of Bannock workforce to adopt. Even if we could, these people would still have to talk to their significant others how they feel about it, or they're not even old enough or prepared to adopt. But there is something we can do to help solve this problem by participating in the consumption of Wendy's and the use of Snapchat. Wendy's is currently working with the Dave Thomas Foundation through the use of Snapchat filters to raise money to reduce adoption costs nationwide. If you go to Wendy's right now and get a drink, you will notice that Wendy is actually missing from the cup. This is because being adopted from a family allowed Wendy's founder, Dave Thomas, to realize his dream of owning a family restaurant. If you don't believe me, you'll just have to go to Wendy's. The way to raise money is really easy with Wendy's. First, you buy a meal or just a drink at Wendy's. Then you use Snapchat and scan the snap code to unlock the filter, and then you just take a picture and share it. This will automatically donate $5 to the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption from Wendy's. And then you just enjoy your drink or meal. All the donations will help go to reduce foster care adoption costs, and so that these children can get into families. Now, you may think that you have to go to Wendy's and buy a drink in order for the Dave Thomas Foundation to get the money. However, you can actually do this from a link that I put in the bottom of the video, and this will take you to the Wendy's website, and you can actually scan the cup in the picture. If you can't take a couple minutes to take the Snapchat, it's okay. So, how will this actually affect the adoption problem? In the worst case scenario, nobody finds it important enough to actually help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption. Foster children will stay in foster care until they age out. Your life won't change at all. However, it doesn't have to be that way. In a better scenario, everyone decides to help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption. Foster care children get put into adoptive families, and you'll have done something to help these children and to better your community. For the extent of Southeast Idaho, and then all the way to the whole US and Canada. You might feel even compelled to share this information with friends and family to further help these children. So what? What should you take away from this? Let me give you a small review of the brief look into adoption, particularly in Idaho, that you can do about it. First, I talked about what the problem with adoption is. Then I talked about how you can help in a very simple steps. Then I finished by describing a negative and a positive path that we can take from here. So I call upon you, take a Snapchat, go eat at Wendy's, click on the link below. Doing anything to help foster children find a family is as easy as using Snapchat. Don't we all deserve a chance to have a place and a person to call home?